Good morning. Welcome to this episode of Refill with Randy. Grab your favorite cup, fill it up, and let's start this day right together. Good to have you here this morning. Today and the next couple of days, we're going to be taking a look at the 23rd Psalm. If you remember, David prayed, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod, your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." That has to be one of my favorite Psalms, one of my favorite prayers. Obviously, it's pretty well known whether you go to church or not. You've probably heard it at a funeral. But it is full of promises, not just for the next life, but for this life as well. I love to think of God as that good shepherd. You know, Jesus described himself as the good shepherd, the one who is willing to lay down his life for his flock. And right off the bat, David acknowledges that, God is this good shepherd, and because of that, he doesn't want. Now, that doesn't mean that he gets every little thing that his heart desires, because sometimes our hearts, they desire things that our hearts desire things that we shouldn't have. God knows that they're bad for us. If we have children, we know there are certain things that they shouldn't be having and that they're bad for them, and so we're not going to give them everything. The scriptures talk about how a good father, if you ask for a loaf of bread, you're not going to get a rock. And if you ask for a fish, you're not going to get a snake. And in the same way, God will not give you those things. And if you ask for a rock or a snake, he's going to give you bread and fish instead. And so God takes care of our needs. He gives us exactly what we want. It also says that he will lead us beside quiet pastures. He will lay us down. I've always appreciated the wording of that passage, of that verse. He doesn't say, "I will let you lie down." He doesn't say, "You can decide if you want to lie down." He says, "He makes me lie down." Sometimes God will make us lie down. He will make sure that we won't overdo it, that we're not going to just use ourselves up. And so sometimes we need to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, that we are taking time every day to rest in him and hear his word, that we're taking pauses throughout every week, that the Sabbath is actually a Sabbath. Not that you have to follow every little rule as much as you do need to take that time to rest from work, to be with family, and most importantly, to have time worshiping God and learning from him. Sometimes a shepherd, he would have to literally lay the sheep down because they were such anxious creatures. They were always just kind of fidgeting about, and they would wander off, and they would get themselves in harm's way. But he would lie them down so that they would actually sleep and stay safe. I think of my children, no children that I know of, want to go to bed at night. They always want to try and have it go a little bit longer. They don't understand that they need naps. They don't understand that they need sleep. Adults, we understand that. We long for that. And so what do we do as good parents? We don't just let them stay up all the time because that's what they want. No, what we do is we lay them down for that nap. We lay them down when it's time for bed. We know what's best for them, the same way that God knows what's best for us. And then he does. He leads us beside those quiet waters. Some of my favorite times are when I'm just out praying or reading or just meditating on scripture by a body of water. I mean, it could be the ocean, it could be Holly Falls, it could be a little creek. Whatever it is, it's just nice to be in nature. Nature itself reminds us of what God has done. He has created this fantastic tapestry. He's created the animals. He's created, the earth itself. He's created us. And then it says that he will guide us in paths of righteousness. I am so thankful for the way that God has guided me in paths of righteousness. Oh, goats like coffee, apparently. That doesn't mean that I always follow the path, but God, he always kind of nudged me back to true north. Just like a shepherd will, use their staff to kind of guide the sheep, or in this case, guide the goats where they need to go. God does that same thing. He guides us in righteous paths so that we do not move to the left or to the right, but that we stay straight and narrow toward him. And so tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit more about the staff. We're going to talk more about the rod as we talk about what it means to go through the shadow of the valley of death. And so from my goat friends here at Root and Wings Farm, we wish you a fantastic day. God bless.